everybody doing this morning? Woohoo! Awesome.
Stella, is that your new pad? Your new house?
My wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing's gone up yet. Thanks for asking.
Well,
yeah, so
that's understandable since you just got there yesterday.
yeah, exactly. And thanks for asking, Teri. For some of you who don't know, yesterday was the big move day. So we loaded up, I hired movers and loaded up about a 20-foot truck, but we ran out of time. And so we have to finish up today. But anyways, all right. Well, I think we have everybody here. Good morning. And I know other people will trail in. And I'm so excited. I get to see Lori. I haven't seen your beautiful face in a long time. It's amazing.
So good to see you.
It's so great to see you. And so for some of you who don't know, Lori is our amazing admin girl behind the scenes, pulling so much together, doing so much for our agencies. I know that she's also branched off to with Vetter Agency, who recently branched off. But we're so fortunate and blessed to have her here. And actually, before we open up, I know that Lori had some amazing things to share. So I'd like to just go ahead and open it up to you, Lori, if you don't mind, with some things that you wanted to share. And then I'll just dive right into the leaderboards and get the party rolling. And don't mind all the noise in the background. Let me mute myself. Sorry, animals.
Okay. I'm excited for your move. I know it's you've got a lot happening, and I love the smile on your face, even always through everything. Yes, so I wanted to touch base. I know I sent out the information about the hotel in Denver yesterday. I wanted to follow up with that. I know I did a follow-up inside of Crew, but I also wanted to just kind of say this as well. When you dig in there and look at some of the reviews, and you'll see this at almost any hotel, but with this particular one, I kind of reviewed this last night and saw pieces of it, but it's an older hotel and the rooms are smaller than you'll sometimes find in a Hilton. They've converted this hotel into this really funky place, and that's the perfect location for a party, truly. I mean, there couldn't have been a more ideal ballroom for us to celebrate together. But upon review, staying there might not be ideal. It says anybody under over 50 don't stay there. I was offended. I mean, you don't have to be, you can stay in funky places, even if you're not super young. But anyway, yeah, so just make sure you look at the reviews of the other hotels offered, and make a choice based on because it's super centrally located. It's walking distance from the convention center, and it'll be a really cool place to take pictures, but just make sure that's where you actually want to stay. You absolutely do not have to stay there. We are, but you don't have to, sweet cat. So anyway, I just wanted you to, really look into that, because that may not be the vibe you want, and give you that heads up. So that's it.
That's awesome, Lori. Thank you so much for doing all that research and sharing. You do so much behind the scenes that we're also grateful for you. I'm just really thankful for you. Thank you so much. And for those of you that don't know, Chris is spending some time with family. So he may or may not join us, but he knows that every one of you on today and are super capable of taking care of business. And that's what we do. This is our business. We take care of business. We own it. And so we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about pushing through the process, especially for some of you new people, which we seem to have a lot of new people recently as we're all rebuilding. And it looks like some people just weren't able to make it on today. Some people are calling in. Those of you that made it today here and you have your camera on, I just want to commend you and just really celebrate you, because you hear it all the time on all the national calls, on all of the, you know, sales calls, every single call, the team calls. It's so important to plug in, you guys. I was thinking about this, you know, in going through, you know, pushing through the process, when so many things that have brought me here success, my success has been learned from these meetings. This is ongoing training, folks. Like, it is constant. There's so many times where I was just thinking about, you know, listening to an old SoundCloud audio, and my team knows I'll share those SoundCloud audios with them, you know, from like the agency training. They're so imperative to your training here. So many times I can look back and something that I learned that I use in my process of helping families came from one of those audios. So I'm just so proud of those of you that are showing up here and continue to do so. So without further ado, let me go ahead and jump on into the leaderboards. I'm so excited about the leaderboards, you guys. We're going to go through week to date. Let me switch out my glasses because I'm that old. All right. So on our leaderboards, we have, starting from the top 10, and we are including all of the Menifee agency. So top 10, those of you remember Joanna, 8 applications for 6,600. Actually, I'm so sorry. That is the month to date. Let's go to, well, we'll just stay on month to date. Month to date is really exciting. Month to date is Joanna Joybin, 8 applications for $6,625. Number 9, Derek McPherson, 8 applications, $7,161. And number 8, Miss Donna Lee, 8 applications for $7,485, direct to Blair Cushion. And folks, these are only for the last couple of weeks. So this is, you know, all these numbers are going to double or triple and sometimes quadruple. Number 7, Miss Stacey Love, 9 applications for $8,296. Number 6, and I'm sorry, Stacey is direct to Donna Lee Bates. And number 6 is Miss Teri Myers, 9 applications for $9,221, direct to Stella Dinwiddie. Number 5 is Angel Gooding with 7 applications and for $9,275, direct to John Paul Vetter. Number 4 is Blair Cushion himself with 13 applications for $12,466, direct to Chris. John Paul Vetter. Number 3, 9 applications for $14,874, direct to Chris Menifee. Number 2 is Stella Dinwiddie with 18 applications for $24,052, direct to Chris Menifee. And number 1, look at Jenny Gray, 28 applications for $27,104, direct to John Paul. Just a $3,000 spread right there. And then let's go ahead and go to the week to date, and that one is here. APV. All right, here we go. All right, so we are doing the top 10. And if you're not in the top 10, it just means you get, there's a lot more people that have wrote business this week, you guys. It's just that if you're not in the top 10, it just means you didn't make the cut from everybody else. But you did a phenomenal job because you help families. So I need you to know that. Top 10, James McKeon went out for $1,176, direct to John Paul. Number 9, John Paul himself, 1 application for $1,364, direct to Chris Menifee. Number 8, Miss Teri Myers, one application for $1,367 direct to Stella Dinwiddie. Number 7, Joanna Doyben, 3 applications for $1,777 direct to Lionel Anderson. Number 6, Eric Sullivan, who you guys, I hope that you saw them on the national call this past Wednesday. Man, was that truth on fire. 2 applications for $2,819 direct to John Paul. Number 5, Andrea Harris with 5 applications for $2,992 direct to John Paul. Number 4, Brad Higgins, 3 applications for $3,349 direct to Eric Sullivan. And number 3, Jennifer Gray with 4 applications for $4,779 direct to John Paul. And then number 2 is Stella Dinwiddie with 7 applications for $5,002 direct to Chris Menifee. And number 1 for the week was Natal Hermit. Wow, she really pulled in last minute. 8 applications for $6,607 direct to Eric Sullivan. So this is really cool, you guys, because you're going to see and hear a lot of numbers, especially if you're brand new, and really wonder what that means. And hopefully most of you do, but if you don't, you're going to come to learn that that just means the amount of business that we help people with each week. And on an average, a monthly premium that somebody pays is usually about $100 on an average. And if you take that and times it by 12 months in a year, that's what the APV is. So 1,000 times 12 is 1,200. And so like you'll see, how many times did you hear one application for 1,137? A lot. The average APV is about 1,000. Sometimes we do less, sometimes we do more. I've had, many of us have had, one app for like 5,000 APV. And some of us have had one app for $150. Doesn't matter. It all adds up. It all counts. And at the end of the day, what counts the most is the families that we help. So on this call today, we are going to go through, and first of all, let me just introduce myself. Some of you, because I see some new faces that I've seen your names on crew, but some new faces and some very, very familiar, amazing, awesome faces. I am Stella Dinwiddie, and I am direct to Chris Menifee himself. And I'm so blessed and honored to be here. Every single time, you guys, that I'm here, I am super excited. I'm super blessed. I'm super grateful. I just can't be thankful enough because this is a truly amazing opportunity. And this and it's an honor to be able to talk on these calls, whether it's the team call, the national call, or whatever call we have. Anytime that I get to share my heart or my experiences with you, I take that very, very seriously and with a lot of passion, because I know for myself, since when I first started, I saw all the numbers, I saw what was possible, and I plugged in and I was glued to each one of these, and I still am. I love these calls because I get to take away information and I get to go and apply it. And that's what I want to make sure that you guys do today and every time that you're on a call, because, like they say, what we dwell upon grows. Whatever we think about all day long, whatever you're thinking about now, whatever you thought about this morning, whatever you're going to think about when we hang up this call, it's whatever you're thinking about. That's what comes out of you, out of your heart and out of your actions. So we want to make sure it's good stuff that you're going to get today, because we want you dwelling on good stuff. So with that being said, whenever we host these calls, the most important thing to me is always, what can we help you in your process here? And I was talking to some newer folks, and Heidi, for example, is, less than a month, barely a few weeks in. and just love this girl's heart on fire. I love all of you. But we were talking about, just kind of pushing through the process. And so we want to share all that with you. And we have a number of special guests today, which I'm super duper excited. They're going to share their wisdom of experience and what's helped each of these ladies push themselves through the process here, because that's what we do. Remember, we're business owners. We own it. We own our actions, what we do day in, day out, how we develop ourselves. It's on us. It's not on the system. It's not on the leads. It's on us. So these ladies, I wanted to share with you their numbers because they're really impressive. And it gives a great example of that pushing through the process, that action, and put into the process and put into action what it has yielded for them. So I'm going to start off with, so Miss Heidi Raia, barely been here a few weeks. And if you folks aren't looking on Crew, you need to be checking Crew, because there are leads that are getting posted on there that you can purchase from Scott's Blue List. But don't stop there. If you can't get any, hop on Opt. Never let it be an excuse not to invest in your leads each week. One thing that we're going to talk about with all these ladies is being consistent, how they are all consistent with the process. That includes investing in leads weekly. I didn't have access. I didn't have money when I first started, and I would get 50-cent leads. I'm not saying for you to get 50-cent leads if you don't need to. There are a ton of awesome, amazing leads, bonus leads. And those bonus leads will yield you great results if you work them. So Miss Heidi Raia, barely been here a few weeks, and each week, folks, she is investing in those leads and applying herself and dialing. She's already written 4 applications for just shy of $1,000. And she is going to be one of our guest speakers here. Miss Stacey Love has barely been here 7 months, but in that 7 months, her consistency has already yielded her $37,948 in APV and 41 apps. Miss Teri Myers, everyone that works in our team knows I like to call her App Girl, because that girl knows how to write apps, man. She can come out of a sitting and write 4 or 5 apps easy. And these numbers represent the last, really the last 2 months, because we've been into October about 2 weeks now, so about 2.5 months. So this is going back for August and September, and then just about a week and a half into October. So Miss Teri Myers has written $31,757 with 44 applications. And Miss Donna Bates, this queen of perseverance, you're going to hear from her too. She has written $22,199 and 31 apps. You guys, these numbers have added up quickly because they are consistent. They invest in leads weekly. They are dialing each week, and they push through the process. And some of them are just learning. So it's going to be really awesome for you to hear from them. And some of them have been doing it, for a good while, at least over a year. So you get to hear from their experience also. And what you're going to get out of this is, I want you to make sure you have a pen and paper, because you're going to hear some really awesome nuggets of wisdom that they have been applying to push them through the process. And we're going to talk about it. So without further ado, I'd love to go ahead and open it up to you, Miss Heidi, because you're the newest. So we're going to initiate you first.
Okay. So you had asked me some questions like, let me see what one of the main ones was so I can get started. So what has helped me learn to develop, to push me through to dial and make appointments and be prepared. So one of the things is just when you open up your dial room, I think it's so important when people just jump on. I think it's so helpful for me anyways. It's motivating, even if we're both on mute. It's just knowing someone's there with you. It's kind of like the fun and energy of being in an office, even though, you know, we're not in an office. But my thing is just dial. You got to just dial. I mean, that's fun, but I'm on a different time zone than you, so I have to start earlier than you. So you're not always there, but just keep dialing. I mean, that is the bottom line. You got to keep going. And I do invest in those leads every week and keep dialing, keep going for it. I mean, that's the main thing. And the other thing I said was, you know, you don't always know the products right off the bat, you know, the basics that you've learned about insurance, but the more you talk to your prospective customers on the phone, the more you get to learn the products and the more comfortable you are. And that's been great because at first you're explaining it and, you know, you probably aren't going to make a sale your first day, but you're explaining the product. And as you get to do that, you're getting to know it. And by the time you do sit on your Zoom, you have learned so much about it just by talking about the products and researching them for the prospective client. So that's been awesome. Another thing is you make all your appointments, and my first Zooms like just did not show up. And these are people that are like, oh yeah, I totally want this insurance. I've been waiting for your call. And the first one was like, oh man, that sucks. Like, you know, it's at 7 p.m, it's dinner time, and it's such a bummer. And then I realized, okay, there's always another appointment. So there's no use in getting to, you know, bummed about it. But also I said, hey, you know, you want me to text you a reminder or call you a couple hours? Oh yeah, that would be great. So now I just text or call and say, hey, don't forget our Zoom is tonight in an hour. Is that still good for you? Or, you know, don't forget our Zoom. It's at 6. And that's been awesome. Now people consistently show up. I mean, once in a while they'll say, oh, you know, tonight actually isn't good. Can we do tomorrow night? But it's been perfect. Now everyone shows up. So, yeah.
That is awesome stuff, Heidi. I love it. I was, you know, trying to keep up writing and listening to you at the same time. You know, I heard you talk about the Zoom room. I love it when you join too. You guys, we have so much fun. When we make appointments, we celebrate. Like we do stupid things and we're like, we just, you know, it's awesome. And some of you on this call also join. And I love it. And plus, you know, it not only makes it fun, but it helps holding for accountability. Because, you know, you hear this a lot. We're on an island. Sometimes you can feel like you're on an island because you're not in an actual office, like a call center or something, because we are on the phones, but we make it fun. It's one of our mottos, you know, we get stuff done and we have fun. And I love the other thing that you said, Heidi, about, you know, the more you sit in front of people. I hope you guys got that, because some of you I'm not saying, I don't know, a lot of you, you know, personally work with, you know, some of you here on the screen. But I will tell you, our experience in the past with people can be that they call it paralysis by analysis. And what that means is people can get hung up on, well, I got to know this product. I got to do this. I got to get my paperwork right. And it's like they spend so much time in the minutia of not productive stuff. That's not productive. That the most productive, that's really going to help you, is just sitting in front of people. Tom Chisholm always said it best. The answer to your problems here are in the next appointment, because that's how we learn. And that's why we say fail forward as fast as you can. So I love that, Heidi, how you learn more. And I also heard you talk about how just do it. I just got to do the dials. I know I just got to do the dials. And that's so huge. And you're gonna hear a lot of consistency from each gal here. But I take notes, you guys, because this is going to help you. Let's go ahead, and next one up on the list. Teri, would you like to go ahead and open up next year?
Sure.
Awesome. And I love Teri, you guys. If you guys don't know how much I love Teri, she's amazing. And you're going to hear how she is.
So, when I was given some thought to things that help me persevere, I think the word of the day, and you already said it, Stella, is consistency. That's key. That's number one. How do we stay consistent? For me, biggest thing is buying leads every single week. So if you don't have a GMR, get a GMR. That's made a huge difference for me because it's keeping me accountable. I know that I'm getting, at least 10 A leads every week. And, that kind of forces me to be consistent. If you think about it, every time those get assigned each week, I have to call these people. I mean, they're waiting, they're requested information, they're waiting on us to follow up with them. And so I try to do that in a timely manner. And I know at a minimum, I'll be talking to those folks, and I usually pick up some extra leads from Scott or, on the weekend with Opt. But just by doing that in of itself, you end up keeping your pipeline full. And that's huge because, that's one thing for me, even though I'm kind of up and down a lot, one thing that's consistent is my activity on a weekly basis. So even though I may have one week that is great and the next week maybe not so much, there's still activity going on in the background. And so because of that, oftentimes, yesterday was a good example. I had a sale with a lady that was the sweetest 82-year-old woman I've ever talked to. I just loved her. But she wasn't a new appointment yesterday. She was someone I sat with a week ago. So that was in my pipeline. And the biggest thing is following up with the people that you have in your pipeline, and you'll find over time that stuff just starts kind of falling in to your weekly activity too. And there's things that you'll get to add applications to your week, and it wasn't even within the week that you got your leads. It might have been a week, 2 weeks, or even longer ago. So I found for me that that's huge, keeping your pipeline as full as possible. But the only way to do that is to be consistent with getting new leads every single week. So 1 week of not getting leads can take 3 weeks to recover from. So, that's so important. One of the things that came to mind too, Stella, was like last month I had 1 week where I had 10,000 sales in 1 week. And when I think back on that, it wasn't because I worked 10 times harder that week. It truly wasn't. I didn't do anything different than I had done the weeks prior, but it just fell into place that way. There were some stuff in my pipeline that opened up. I had made some sales from that week's leads. And I have found that that's just what happens, so as long as you stick with it, things will turn around. Even if you're having, kind of a crappy week, you just keep your head down and keep doing the deal, because inevitably it will open back up and things will turn around. But that was a hard lesson for me to learn. It took me a while, to get to that point where I wasn't like mentally devastated when I was in a slump. It doesn't bother me as much anymore. I know what I need to do. I know how to turn it around, and it always does turn around. So just keep your head down, keep doing what you know you need to do. And every single time you'll pull out of it. It just happens. But again, it has to be consistency with your activity. So the other thing too, I'll mention is follow-up is huge. That which, you know, plays right into your consistency and your, you know, weekly activity. I am not the greatest closer in the world. That's an area that I'm definitely still working on. But one thing I am good at is being kind to the people that I talk to, being informative, and following up with them. And I can't tell you how many times that has paid off. Yesterday, again, was a good example. You know, just being myself, trying to be as helpful as I can to the people I talk to. No, I'm not the greatest closer. You know, I have some work to do in that area, but, you know, just being consistent with, like I said, being informative and kind, and that, just being myself, you know, on my meetings, it will pay off in the long run, and it has many times over for me. So lastly, I'll just mention, I think Heidi mentioned it too, was just more appointments. You'll find when you have more appointments on your calendar, you don't have this emotional roller coaster when you have a no-show or a reschedule, or that stuff does not bother me anymore. It just goes right over. There is no emotion tied to that for me at all. So you just learn that it's not a big deal. You know, you just move on. You have other people that you're talking to. Again, you have people in your pipeline. You're making new appointments, and maybe it'll work out. Maybe you'll get a chance to sit with them, and maybe you won't. Oh, well, move on. You know, just, I don't know. I just find out over time, for me, it's just not such an emotional up and down. I've, you know, with the consistency with time has also come, I don't know, maybe calmness. I don't know what the word is, Stella. But, and she will be the first one to tell you that, you know, there's been change in me, I think, Stella, over the past year and a half or so, as far as just not letting the emotional part get to me, and just know that it's going to turn around, and I know what I need to do, and that's it. So that's all I have for right now, Stella.
Man, that was packed. I hope you guys took notes, because I couldn't keep up quick enough. And I'm here to—
Oh, and one more thing.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is Liberty. She's sleeping on my lap. We got a puppy this week.
Liberty is beautiful.
He's my baby.
Oh my gosh, he's so cute. Oh my goodness. Okay, thank you for sharing, Liberty. Teri. So I'm going to correct you on one thing, Teri, because you say you're not a good closer. First of all, you are amazing. You, with all your families, you are incredibly amazing. And the beautiful thing, you guys, is that we don't close. There's no closing in this. It's all about the quality of the questions that we ask. How do I know this? Because I went through that, and I'm still going through it. We're all learning. That's what I love about this. It's a constant challenge, because it's not about how you ask, will you take the application? I never ask. If anybody on my team knows, when they've watched my videos, I never ask, okay, would you like to apply? I'm always assuming, and
That's that new internet in her new house. She'll be back.
and
There you are. We lost you, Stella.
Oh no. Okay. Shoot. What was the last piece you heard, Teri?
What were we talking? I'm sorry. I couldn't even tell you. It was just like for 5 seconds. So whatever your last point is that you made, we missed it. Your screen went dark.
Oh, so gosh, I hope the internet isn't going to be a problem here at this new place. But the point that I was making there is that there's no closing. The closing starts with your first question of how can I help you? It's all about the quality of the questions, and you're going to get better asking it. I've always said, Chris used to drill into me. He's one of the best mentors. He always say, Stella, you got to peel that onion. What are you asking them? You know, for them to tell you that, oh, well, you know, I want to make sure that I have, you know, coverage in case I die, so my wife can stay here. That's not nearly enough. You have to continue to dig. And I used to think that, well, you know, they told me that they needed it, so I didn't tell anybody else that. But in my head, I thought that, oh, I've got them, you know, they need it. And then they didn't take the application. You know, this is part of that learning curve in the beginning. And so, you know, we got to put our egos aside and follow the process. And part of that process, you know, is asking those questions. But I just love what you said, Teri. You talked about being consistent and getting a GMR. If you heard her say, if you don't have one, get one. And follow up. You are so amazing with follow up. And I know many of you here are. Follow up is super key. I agree with you. One time I remember you mentioned on a call, Teri, and I wrote it down, you said that you got like a little, like a filer that of each month, you just created it of January through December. And when people said, oh, you know, right now we're in October, can you follow up with me in January? Because that's right now, it's just not a good time. We're going to wait for taxes to come in. And you would drop them. Yep, that one right into your January portion. You know, and those are what we call hot leads. So do that. And then I love what you said. I'm sorry, I just have to reiterate this because what you said is so huge about not getting mentally upside down. And you are so right. You know, and that is another big part of the learning curve that a lot of you new people are going to have a hard time getting past. It can be an emotional roller coaster, but you will do it eventually. Because Teri is super consistent, you know, and she talked about it, just keep doing it. And you heard her say she's just herself. So I would tell you that I know for a fact, you know, Teri talks about the activity that she does behind the scenes. She does activity every single week. She's always writing business. I mean, you saw, you know, just in the last, you know, 10 weeks, 2.5 months, she wrote $31,000 and 757 with 44 apps. That's a lot of applications, a lot of families help in a short amount of time. And Teri will probably tell you, I mean, you know, Teri, in the last 2 weeks, I hope you don't mind me asking you, but about on an average, how many appointments have you made in last week? And how many appointments in the week before on an average?
I usually average at least 12. I try to get 15, but I'm usually at least 12 appointments a week.
And thank you so much. I really appreciate you sharing that, because here's the thing, you know, if you double that, her numbers are going to be way higher. So when she says that she's not a great closer, don't believe her. She's amazing. That girl helps families. You know, it's just, you know, the amount of appointments, and she knows she can make more, but she's good where she's at. She's happy with herself, and that's important. And, you know, just the last thing I love what she said is, you know, talking about, again, reiterating how, hey, you know what, somebody doesn't show up, there's no emotion tied to that. That's huge, you guys. She says, just make a new appointment, just hop back on, make a new appointment. So I hope you wrote that down. Next gal I'm gonna bring up is Miss Stacey Love herself. And she's the gal I told you guys that has barely been here less than 7 months. And she's already written in the last 10 weeks, 37,948 with 41 apps. So I would be writing down what she has to share also.
No pressure, Stella. Hey, thank you. I appreciate all of your faces. I especially want to shout out Patrick. This is his first call. I think he's doubted a few times, but Patrick is new from the wonderful state of Ohio. Patrick passed an exam last week and is hitting the ground running with all the training, and he'll be ready to go. So good to see you, Patrick. I just really want to echo what Heidi and Teri have said. Like, the big word here is consistency. So when I started, here, I was, kind of like some of you, I wasn't licensed yet. Insurance was brand new to me. I had no clue what this even meant, but fortunately, I have a wonderful mentor in Donna Bates, and she kind of held my hand and walked me through everything and encouraged me. And we literally talk multiple times a day. So that's one thing I do want to add to what's already been said. Plug into your mentor. They are never too busy. They are there to help you through, to encourage you, to give you advice, because they've been there, they've done it, they've overcome a lot of things. So that's really, really important. And I think that's been critical to my success here so far, is having someone that I can just text or call and say, oh, what is going on? What does this mean? And she's been really great and gracious, and I'm really, really grateful for that. Also, to the rest of you, the dial room has been really, really helpful. So I'm so used to being in an office with people and seeing people walk by and waving, even if my door is shut, just knowing that other people were around. And so the dial rooms have been so helpful to me, because even if I can't hear anyone, I can look up and see faces, or we can celebrate, or I can smack my forehead, and everyone gets what that means. So the virtual office has been super, super helpful. And so if that's your thing, there's a way to plug into that as well. And so, like I was saying, insurance was brand new, and I just made a commitment from the very beginning just to jump in with both feet. If I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this 100%. And so by doing that, a lot of activity has been really important. Buying leads every week. I've spent, a lot of money on leads, and I'm just grateful my husband's okay with that. Because again, this was new to him too. He's like, what's this $600 for? What's this $400 for? What is this? And I said, it's going to pay off. I'm following the system, honey. Just wait. We're going to see the results. And fortunately, I have an amazing support system at home, where someone allows me to invest, because he kind of believes in me and believes in what I'm doing, because I believe in the system, right? And this company and all of you. So that's been just a real game changer. So when Stella, asked me about some of the things I've learned, my biggest thing is practice makes perfect, period. And so I was, really, really believing what people said, just dial, make the dials, call people, connect with people, make the appointments, run the appointments, learn as you go. It's okay. It's okay to make mistakes, right? Because the more you make mistakes, the better you get at helping the very next family. And so being consistent and doing the activity does quite a few things. One, it allows you to know the products better. Right. So you'll be able to learn kind of what insurance carriers can help certain people. And that's all by kind of volume and repetition. And so when you find that situation again with another family, it just triggers oh, I remember I helped someone that had that same situation. I kind of know who my go-to carrier is. And then the more you do that, the more you get in front of families, the more you learn. And, sometimes the more you make mistakes and trying to find products that will help people. The other thing that's really, really important is making the dial, setting the appointments, but also learning how to do the risk assessments, right? Calling the carriers just to make sure, because we not only want to help families, right, by sitting in front of them, we want to write products that are getting issued. So we're helping them and also helping ourselves, because we get paid once those policies are put in place. And you learn that too by making mistakes or digging in and asking more questions to find out what their real medical condition is. And I've had a lot of families that, they've forgotten to tell me about something, or, oh, I forgot, I just got diagnosed with this. And, oh, I was in a car accident. I'm only taking a few narcotics. And so, so you learn more by getting in front of a lot of those people. And then of course, checking with your upline and plugging into the cause, because you hear all the stories of people being successful. But also what's really been helpful is hearing the stories of people and things that they failed in, right? And what mistakes that you shouldn't make because someone else has already made them. So that's been really, really important to me as well. I think the final thing is once you sit with more families, you get more comfortable talking to the families. You get more comfortable hearing what they're really saying. you really understand if you should dig in a little deeper into something in particular. I had a family that mentioned, someone was in a wheelchair, just kind of in passing. And I thought, oh, are you in a wheelchair temporarily? Like, what happened? And so by just really listening, I was able to figure out that there were some other medical conditions that they failed to mention. And so, but again, that was just practice and getting really comfortable talking to my families. And so that's it. Like, just do it. Just do it. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to not know everything. It's okay to call your mentor in the middle of an appointment. Thanks again, Donna. It's okay to text them in the middle of something, because the ultimate goal is to help the family to find a product that's going to work for them and having that product issued for that family. So again, just do it. Just do the work. Okay, I'm done.
Oh, I love it. See, this is why I brought every one of these gals on here to pour into you guys, because that's, man, you heard her talk about consistency again. By the way, congratulations, Patrick, on getting your license. I think we celebrated you a little bit on crew, but how awesome it is to see you here. And then, I love what you added about plugging into your mentor. And you're right, you guys, we're never too busy. Like, you can ask Teri, even with my move, I'm here for, we want to help you. We want to make sure, that you all know that we are here for you, so that don't ever feel like, oh, you're too busy. Okay. And then the virtual office, thanks for bringing that up. By the way, after this call, we'll open it up for a little while to do some calls before I go back with my movers, because I have my leads that I want to call. And I love that you talked about it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to make mistakes. Like, you need to make mistakes. If you're going to learn here, you have to make mistakes. And that's probably the toughest part about the learning curve here, is people being afraid to make a mistake. Like, don't be afraid. You're going to make mistakes. And I love what you talked about, how being on the calls helps you to learn from others. That's what this hopefully will do for you guys. That's what it continues. That's what it's done for me, and it continues to do for me. Matter of fact, while I was moving, I was playing back an old SoundCloud audio from, from one of the symmetry meetings, because here's the thing. People go invest in a college degree to be a doctor. They invest in all these different training programs. This costs you nothing. This is some of the best training if you apply it. And if you, like Stacey said, do it. If you talk about it, you want to do it, and you don't do it, you're not going to see the results. But if you apply it and do it, man, the rewards are huge. So thank you so much, Stacey. And Miss Donna Bates, let's go ahead and have you wrap up. I just love Miss Donna Bates. I love what you said about her. I couldn't agree more. I've watched Donna grow from my be here also. You're growing your own team here, Donna. You're gonna, just like Miss Teri and Heidi and Stacey, these are our future AOs, you guys. Every one of them that you're listening from are future agency owners here. Let's go ahead and unmute yourself, Miss Bates.
I did. Thank you for allowing me to speak. And I'm going to try to not reiterate what everybody else said, although a lot of the points that they said are, they'll make or break you in the business. But one thing that I wanted to share, and I disappeared for a minute because I thought I had it on my phone, but I didn't. And it's something that Stella said. Oh, I think it was back when she first started. I printed it and I put it next to my computer. And it says, it's not that you don't know what to do, but rather you don't have the discipline to make yourself do what you should, whether you feel like it or not. And just being honest, there are days that you're going to wake up and the last thing that you're going to want to do is sit in your office and make phone calls and have somebody tell you no, or somebody cuss you out, or somebody hang up on you. And it's very easy to get in the trap of worrying about trying to set appointments and feeling like before you even get going, nobody's going to want to talk to me today, or nobody's going to make an appointment. And the key thing that I wrote down was worry and defeat. They can really just make your day downhill, or you can just overcome them and go, not today. I'm going to challenge. I'm going to rise above this challenge, and I'm going to be successful. And Jenny, when she spoke on Wednesday, it was really funny because when Stella asked me to talk, I had in my mind this vision, and I'm sure you've seen it, and I don't know how to put things up, but it's Jenny related a similar story on Wednesday about the guy that ended up dying like at the end of the driveway to a major hotel where he would have been, had everything he needed. And the picture that I had was, I'm sure you've seen it, two guys that are in a tunnel and they're hacking away with their pickaxes. And one guy stops literally inches from a diamond mine and the other guy is still plugging away. And there are days that you go, I'm done. I can't do this. And then you go, I'm going to make one more phone call. That phone call sets an appointment and you make $2,000. So it's really important that to keep that mindset when you don't feel like doing it, just make one more dial. And there's been days that I've sat there and went, those jerks that say, make one more dial, but then you do it and it makes a difference. And Stella just said it too, don't expect results if you don't do the work. So when you get frustrated or you get upset or you don't feel like calling and you go, oh, it's a nice day, I'm just going to go sit outside today. One of my favorite quotes is, now I'm going to go brain dead, the hockey guy that said, you're going to miss 100% of the shots that you don't, Wayne Gretzky, you're going to miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. So if you're not making phone calls, you're not setting appointments, you're not going to make the sale, and there's nobody to blame but yourself. So that's my 2 cents.
Well, that was priceless. That was amazing, Donna. And I just see, this is why I love you guys. Oh my gosh. That, what you said, that what you coined me with, Donna, I got that from that book called No Excuses from Brian Tracy, which I go back and I listen to the audio constantly because self-development is so key here to, remember what we talked about, what we dwell upon grows in our brain. Well, whatever thoughts are circling in your brain right now, whether it's, yeah, I'm really excited, I know this process works, or yeah, I tried that, and but, well, you're going to get what you think about. If you think that it's not working for any reason, that's on you. I'm sorry to say that, but because it's on us, it's what we believe. And with that saying that you talked about, Donna, it's not that I don't know what to do, or it's not that you don't know what to do, but rather you don't have the discipline to do what you know you should do, whether you feel like it or not. I have that up on my wall today. To this day, I was reading it when I was packing down my old office wall, and it's hung up there because it's a great reminder to me, with just, pushing through whatever it is, because I do multiple aspects of my business, right? I'm recruiting and I'm also producing. And right now I'm moving and sometimes it feels like, oh my gosh, Lord, I don't have the strength, like to do one more thing because I was up till 1 a.m. packing or whatever it is. And I'm like, nope, you got to do it. You just have to just do it and you'll be done with it. And so, you learn that over time. The best consistent people here just they do it. They learn that discipline. If you don't have it yet, it's okay. I didn't have it in the beginning. I really didn't. But I love that, Donna. And I love what you also, that example that you talked about. Man, that call on Wednesday was just so amazing. If any of you missed it, I encourage you to fast forward to where our Menifee agency people with John Paul Vetter and Jenny Gray and Eric Sullivan hop on. You can pass all the leaderboards and all the funny joke stuff, because that is the most passionate piece of it. and it was amazing. Just truly amazing. One thing I want to leave you with, because we're at 9 o'clock, so we got to go. And forgive me for sharing this. First, if some of you, I feel it on my heart to just say this, because we talk about what we dwell upon grows. Well, I was reading a verse this morning, and I mean, for whatever you believe, the universe or anything, but for me, my God says, therefore I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it and it will be yours. I can't tell you how many times, you guys, we hear, whether it's from the Bible or anywhere else out there, because that's where it first came from, is that whole belief comes from within us. I mean, even God tells us that what we believe is what we are going to receive. So I will tell you today, check yourself, check your thoughts. What am I believing that's going to happen today? Do I believe that I can, that I can make these appointments? You can. If you're not making all of them, just continue on. You will do it. I promise. You heard everybody here is consistent writers. Just follow the process. So thank you guys. Thank you so much. Have an amazing day. And those of you, if you want to join a Zoom room, just go ahead and tag me in crew or message me. But I'm going to open it up probably in about 10 minutes and do a power hour of dialing. Thanks, guys. Love you.